Hey guys, it's Brian. Am I the a-hole for refusing my birthday gift because it was a Weight Watchers subscription? I mean, come on, who would do that? Hi Reddit, I turned 18. I'm a female, and yesterday it seemed to cause a bit of drama in my family. So I'm asking for honest, objective opinions on whether I'm wrong. I really need you to tell me here. I'm using a throwaway account because this situation is obviously very humiliating for me. Now, for reference, my weight has always been made fun of in my family. Just kind of the thing, you know? My aunt specifically has always been very unkind and fat shamed me. Who does that? Even when I was younger and struggling with my body image. She used to tell me that my clothes look so small on me and that even her clothes are probably small for me. She used to remind me to go on diets constantly. I'm currently 320 pounds if it adds context to this story, but I hadn't seen my aunt in a while, and for the most part, I was really glad to see her for my birthday. I was slightly dreading if she would say anything to me because I'm aware I've gained a lot of weight since I last saw her. But she just made a few comments, so I thought, okay, we're cool. It's the end of it, right? Well, I was opening a birthday card she gave me a few hours later, and it had money in it with a note that said, "Money for Weight Watchers. Make some real change for once." Now, this was humiliating, and I asked her about it. And she said that she could tell I was miserable and that I probably looked really good underneath that fat. She said this in front of my parents, and it was very embarrassing. I mean, really embarrassing. I told her I'm not accepting the gift and that she's making me look stupid. But she said that she was just worried for me and my health, so I don't believe this. She's made fun of my weight for years, even before I was a teenager. But my parents think I was overreacting and that I should have just accepted it. Now, my aunt has a notoriously big mouth, if you know what I mean. My parents think she's going to tell our whole family, so they're getting kind of worried about what I've done. So, am I the a-hole? Hey guys, it's Brian, and I want to know, am I the a-hole for not agreeing with my husband to fund his brother's trip from our joint savings? I mean, come on. I'm a 37-year-old female, and my husband, he's 38. Now, we've been married for 9 years. We have 2 kids, 8 years old and 1 year old. Now, we're both working, and my husband earns a lot more than me. But from the start of our marriage, we agreed to keep a joint bank account and a personal bank account. In this way, we are able to share with the responsibilities of covering our family expenses and have our own money for personal needs. Now, recently, my brother-in-law, he's 41, a male, shared the news that his sister-in-law that lives overseas is getting married. Her immediate family in the country has been invited to attend the wedding. Her only sister, my brother-in-law's wife, is expected to be there. Now, the trip will require a visa and, of course, plane tickets. And as we know, traveling is a bit expensive. Now, my brother-in-law has to pay for his plane tickets, and visa processing is not all that expensive, can be covered by his sister-in-law. Now, for this, my brother-in-law is asking, not borrowing money from my husband to fund his travels. Now, my husband was planning to give out, but he would take it from our joint account and not his personal account. And I firmly said, no, and told him that if he wants to help, he can get money from his personal account and give what he can afford. Now, I also said that if his brother-in-law cannot afford the trip, then maybe he shouldn't be going. Duh. I mean, his wife can go with her family to attend the wedding, but my husband is now upset as he said that I said no, and even mentioned that I was a bit insensitive as my family side was never in this situation to ask for extra money from us. And I told him that I do help with my family side expenses in case of emergencies, but I never touch our joint account. My brother-in-law is still pestering my husband for his contribution, but my husband is still silent on how much to give. So, am I the a-hole in this whole situation? Okay, update. First off, thank you for your advice, your feedback, and all of your concerns. It is so much appreciated. A lot of you were asking how much is the cost of the trip? Now, we are from Asia and the wedding will be in the U.S., so the cost of the plane tickets and travel expenses is quite high. Now, their plan is to stay for another 2 weeks after the wedding. So all in all, it's estimated to cost around $2,500 U.S. money. Now, my husband and I had discussed on this matter. I was relieved when he admitted that it was wrong for him to think about using our money from our joint account, and he apologized for it and how he reacted when I said no to the request. Now, he assured me that he will not touch our joint account. Now, I checked our account, and sure enough, there was no fund transfer record. Now, my husband initially thought of our joint account as he didn't have enough money for his brother-in-law's request. Now, I don't know how much he has in his personal account because it's his money. He also doesn't know how much I have in my own account. He feels that he needs to provide as he earns more than the rest of his siblings. Now, I told him that if it's an emergency, we can help. But in this case, it's not an emergency or even a priority. He shouldn't feel bad or burden himself about setting boundaries. We ended our discussion with him still open to pitch it, but only around $200. He will get the money from his personal account. Now, in the evening, we had dinner with his side of the family. The topic of the trip came up, and my brother-in-law was excited and jokingly asked solicitation from his siblings. It was a good thing my mother-in-law, their mom, my husband, and another brother-in-law, their own brother, told him off and said that if he wants to go, then he needs to fund his own trip. Now my brother-in-law awkwardly laughs it off and was saying about getting commission bonus at work. My other sister-in-law, married to the other brother, secretly informed me that my brother-in-law also made demand to all the other brothers. I just hope and pray that he does find other ways instead of asking or soliciting from his family members. Hey guys, it's Brian. Am I the a-hole because I don't want to show my significant other private pics from work? Now, I'm a photographer and I do it as a full-time job in the area where I live. I get contracted to take pictures for multiple reasons, from small-time fashion to commercial businesses. Okay, now recently I had a job to do at water photo shoot. Usually I take about 2 hours with clothes changing. Well, that day it was a bikini, sexy boudoir with a couple. No, this is not my first time doing this kind of shoot. Now, usually I would come home and show my wife some pics before I started editing them. Now, the client specifically said, don't show these to anyone. Please. She was very self-conscious, like most people getting their pics taken for the first time. Now, I didn't show my significant other the pics this time and edited them in my spare time. Now, pics are edited and sent, and the client loved them. I posted what I could on social media for more views. My significant other only saw those pics that were on public profile. Today, while going through my computer, organizing photos, my significant other seen the folder icon, nude shots from work, that were only for the client's eyes. She asked why I didn't show her. I told her that they were private, only for the client to see. Now, she went on a whole thing about how she should be able to see all my pics I take because we're married. But I don't agree with that. I said, how would you feel if it was you and other people than the photographer seeing your private pics? I told her, no. So am I the a-hole? Hey guys, this next story up, am I the a-hole for being sarcastic to my fiance's mother when she made uneducated comments about South Africa? Okay, so here's the story, and I need some help here. I'm a 27-year-old female from Johannesburg, South Africa. Now my family, Will, 27, he's a male, is American. We met in 2018 during my Master of Science degree in England. Now, we dated briefly, but lost touch after. In 2021, he recommended me via Instagram, and our relationship just blossomed. He visited South Africa a few times, and I visited him in New York once. In May 2024, he proposed to me during a visit to Johannesburg, and I happily accepted. Recently, I got time off work and visited him in New York again. As we planned a trip to Atlanta to meet his family, whom I hadn't met before, I was excited, but I got to tell you, I was nervous. Now, at first, everything seemed fine. His family welcomed me with a big dinner. However, his mother and aunt made some stereotypical and uneducated comments about South Africa, which I found amusing but also slightly irritating. They kept asking why I sounded British and even compared me to Hermione from Harry Potter. Then his mother said, "I'm honestly wondering how you're South African if you're not black. I didn't even know there were white people in South Africa." As a naturally witty and sarcastic person, I responded without thinking, saying something like, "Yeah, we just magically appeared there one day, like poof." Now, in hindsight, I can see how it might have been the wrong approach, but it was my immediate reaction. His mother and aunt were clearly offended, and the evening became awkward. Will noticed the tension and got upset. Now, when we drove back to my motel, he started ranting about how disrespectful I was to his mother and aunt, and he talked about how important respect is in the family and didn't let me explain. I apologize, still confused, because I didn't think much of my comment at the time. It was meant to be lighthearted. However, Will raised his voice, expressing his disappointment and saying we'd talk about it later. Well, since then, he hasn't responded to my messages or come back to the hotel to speak to me. Now, I'm wondering if I was really out of line. I mean, I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but I didn't expect them to be so sensitive. So, am I the a-hole? Guys, this next story up, I'm 24 years old. I'm a female. Now, my boyfriend, he's 24 years old, and he regularly puts me in timeout. How normal is punishment in grown-up relationships? I mean, is that normal? My boyfriend's version of timeout is when he stops talking to me. He ignores me and doesn't see me or communicate with me. I earned it last night because I expressed to him I have to be weary about him with women, no matter their demographics, because he's tried to sleep with multiple women online and at his workplace. Young, old, everything. I casually looked at his phone the other day to check if he had still been buying nudes behind my back, and he threw my coffee machine and broke it. Water went everywhere, and I cleaned it up while he left. He said I earned it because I shouldn't have brought anything up. I wasn't upset about anything because I didn't find anything in his phone, but I don't know. I just don't feel good, and I don't know where to go from here. What would you do in this situation? Is punishing your partner even normal? This is only my second boyfriend, and our dramatic giving daddy down little girl sometimes. I feel like I have my voice and power taken away with that dynamic. Hey guys, I need your help here. I am a 31-year-old female. Now my husband is also 31. He thinks it's weird that my friend will bring a sex toy when she and I travel together. Now how can I explain to him that it's not weird? Now, my husband and I have been together for 13 years. We married last year and finally moved in together. Now, both of us are straight. Our relationship has been very, very happy. Now, this is our first disagreement this year. Now, my best friend and I have been friends for 12 years. 8 years ago, she moved to another state for school, and she stayed there. Now, we visit each other every year or plan an annual trip, and sometimes with other girls from our friend group. We talk at least once every week for an hour or two, just catching up. You know how it is. She was my maid of honor, and we've been there for each other through thick and thin. She is bisexual and had one girlfriend in college. All her partners after that were straight men, though. All of us went to college together. They've known each other from the beginning. We've hung out together. She visited our place multiple times. Now, they text each other, happy birthday, so she and I are going on a week-long trip together on Saturday. This has been planned for, months. Last night, we were on the phone talking about what to pack. She asked, should I bring my sex toy? Are you going to bring yours? I replied, no, because I don't have any I use anymore. She joked, married life. We moved on to other topics. Now my husband overhears and gets upset, holding it till we get to bed. Are you going to tell me why you guys bring sex toys on a get-together? From talking to him, his concerns are that we're using it on each other and that it's weird to bring a toy on a trip and people only use them at home. And I replied, number one, it's weird for me to even think about using it with my friend, and our relationship is not like that. And number two, I don't understand what's weird about this situation. We have separate rooms in our Airbnb as usual, and that's her business. She can do what she wants or needs, and it doesn't involve me. He turns away saying it's weird and hasn't talked to me since. Now to me, He seems jealous and has a misconception about masturbation, but I don't know if this is just how people feel. Can you help me understand how he's feeling and how to approach the situation to explain to him that it's not weird to me and there's nothing to worry about? This next story. Why on earth did my dentist ask me if I did anything I don't want people to know about? I'm 38 and bad teeth run in my family. Now, my grandma was in dentures by 22. At any rate, I had a dentist appointment yesterday where the dentist told me I needed 3 teeth extracted and 6 root canals. He then proceeded to ask me something very strange. Do you do anything you don't want people to know about that might affect your teeth? I said no, because I had no idea what that might be. I'm still wondering exactly what he could have meant by that, but I was too caught off guard to ask. Does anyone have any idea